Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and welcome to our Westchester Weekly Update. Today is Monday, October 21st. We're very happy to have you with us here. We're going to be joined in a few minutes by our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, and our municipal partner guest this week is the town supervisor of the town of North Salem, Warren Lucas. He's been with us before. We're very happy to have him come back again so you can learn about the northernmost, easternmost town in Westchester County. It's a lovely location up there, and Warren will give you a little update on what's happening there. We also have representatives of our Parks Department that are going to join us and talk about the Halloween season that we're in and a very spectacular program that they have planned. And we'll let Jason and Daniela tell us more about that. When Ken joins us, he'll give us the parks update, as well as looking ahead to what will begin early voting coming up this weekend in the various locations around the county. First of all, we want to send out congratulatory wishes to the WNBA champion New York Liberty. This is the first time in the Liberty's history that this professional women's basketball team has won the championship. They won it last night. It's been a long road for the Liberty, and their road led through Westchester County. From 2018 to 2020, Westchester County was the Liberty's home. They played at the Westchester County Center. We know that COVID came along in 2020, and that messed up a lot of things. But whether or not they're playing here these days, they are our hometown professional women's basketball team. They won last night over the Minnesota Lynx in Game 5 of the final, so it went the full amount of time, and it went into overtime to get the 67-62 victory. So we congratulate them. They are going to get a parade on Thursday morning in Manhattan through the Canyon of Heroes. And this is an important moment, not only for the players of the team, but also for women's sports everywhere. This shows that in our society, there are sports that men obviously have dominated in, but now in basketball, in tennis, in golf, and a host of other sports that are rising, the participation of women at the highest levels of skill are respected by the society. So congratulations to the New York Liberty as they win their first championship, the first of many, we hope. And we very much appreciate their time in Westchester County and their great success now as they are based out of Brooklyn. Next up is our municipal partner. Warren Lucas has been the town supervisor for the town of North Salem for the same length of time and longer than I've been his county executive. So I've had the pleasure of working with Warren over the years. At various times, he has had responsibility for coordinating the activities of a number of supervisors in northern Westchester County, so much so as he's seen as a leader. North Salem is a town of 5,300 people. As I mentioned, it's in the northeastern corner of the county. It has a beautiful rural setting, and when you're in that area of Westchester County, you don't know if you're elsewhere in the Hudson Valley, if you're in Massachusetts or Connecticut. It really is a lovely setting. But it has its centers as well. They have 2 Metro North train stations, and they have an interstate highway that runs through them. So they touch all the different bases. Warren will give us an update on what's happening there. The floor is his. Warren, thanks very much for being with us, and thanks for sharing some information with your friends in Westchester.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I wanted to talk just about a few things we're doing right now in North Salem. As George mentioned, we're up in the northeastern corner on the Connecticut and Putnam border, about 24 square miles, and there's multiple reservoirs. There's Large County Park up there, and obviously some housing. But we do have 50% of the ag land in the entire county. So if you want to come up, spend some time, walk on some of our trails on the open land and stuff, please feel free to do that. The other thing that's been it's been very busy for the last few weeks is apple picking. And we have 2 orchards right on Hardscrabble Road, right off of Exit 8. And we probably have 10,000 people there on a weekend, so it's been pretty crazy. We have a lot of people coming up on the train, Croton Falls and Purdy's, getting off, walking over, taking taxis. And I'm sure with this weather, as you can imagine, it's just going to be wonderful probably for another weekend or 2. I want to talk about a couple of things that we're doing. One, we have a study, Peach Lake, where we have a stormwater study. We had a lot of flooding of some houses, and I want to thank the county. They gave us a 50-50 matching grant, $119,000, and we also have a FEMA grant, so that's progressing. Hopefully by the end of next year, we'll have everything codified. We'll know exactly what we need to do, because when you have rains like Ida and stuff, it's caused us a lot of problems. Right now, we're pretty good because they're just not a lot of rain. So again, I just want to thank the county for that. There's a couple of other things that we're working on too. We purchased a new community center. It's an old building, 1926 schoolhouse. In 2021, we foam insulated the whole thing, and we're going out right now on for geothermal. In fact, we went out to bid already, and we're be getting those bids back in another week, and hopefully the thing will be carbon neutral by the time we're done. But it's a great facility. The Schoolhouse Theater, which was using it before, they're there now, and please feel free to take a look online on their schedule, come up and see some plays, or George, I know you're going to be pretty stressed out in your new job coming up, so if you want to come up and do chair yoga and things like that, please feel free. That's the level that I'm at, right, with the yoga stuff. And then the other thing I wanted to mention also is we're putting solar in on our highway garage. And I focused on all these kind of sustainable things, but it's 9,600 square feet, it's a new building. Metal roof, and I think it's going to generate about 167 megawatts of power, which is pretty neat. It's going to pay a lot of town bills, electric bills. The last one, and I think the most important, is Croton Falls Sewers. We've been working on this. I've been working on this for many, many years, and working with the county planning department. We're going to be putting in a pump station and pumping it to a local sewer plant. And it's about $12 million, and we have FH, affordable housing, in there, and a lot of other stuff. So I've been trying to work to get the capital costs down. And I have to say, at this point, we have $8 million from the DEC. I just got another $1.25 million from Congressman Lawler last week. I have a WIA grant in. I haven't heard yet, but that's $1.171 million. And the NWWC voted out of some of the WQIP money that the county had, that the DEP gave them many, many years ago, a certain amount of money. And at this point, I think we're pretty much, everything's been resolved, and I'm looking forward in the next year or two to get the thing completely built out. So that's just give you a highlight of some of the things that we're working on in North Salem. And please come up for apple picking and to enjoy the environment. Thanks so much, everybody. George?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Warren Lucas, Town Supervisor of North Salem. We always try to focus on great restaurants, and North Salem's got a couple of great restaurants too. Find your way up 22 or 684, and you'll have a beautiful visit to the town of North Salem. This is a tremendously diverse county, from Yonkers to Buchanan and Cortland and Peekskill, all the way over to Pelham and New Rochelle. And we want you to take advantage of it. At this time of the year in October, we've had really tremendous weather. Very little rain, although we do need rain, but the weekends have been terrific for tourism, and we hope you'll get a chance to enjoy that. Take that trip up to the northeastern part of the county and visit Warren up in North Salem. Thanks for being with us today. I'm going to ask Ken to join me here. We're going to touch first on where we are with some of our negotiations, and then we're going to talk a little bit about issues that relate to voting information. Ken will cover some of the main events, and we have something we want to cover. First of all, we have completed successfully negotiating a contract for the next few years with our Correction Officers Benevolent Association. They represent the various correction officers that represent us. That is the second largest department of county government, the Department of Corrections, right behind DSS. And we've had an extended amount of time to negotiate. And of course, when you negotiate, there's a give and a take. There's some things that reach the public attention. But at the end of the day, at the bargaining table, we reached an agreement with them, and they put the proposed settlement before their members, and it was ratified 85% of the vote. So in the last couple of months now, we've closed on the contracts for the correction officers and the superior officers. SOA is the name of that union. That contract has been adopted by the Board of Legislators. The COBA agreement will go before the Board of Legislators for their ratification. Under New York's Taylor law, the legislative body cannot negotiate or amend a contract, but they can ratify it or reject it. So that opportunity exists before the board. We think that this contract will be favorably seen by the Board of Legislators. It's their prerogative. But what it does do is almost bring to completion all of the different labor unions that represent Westchester County's workers. The largest union by far are Civil Service Employee Association members. That is roughly 2/3 to 3/4 of all the people that work for the county government. We've had a contract in place that we negotiated over a year ago that extends for the next few years. We've completed negotiations also extending for a few years hence for our various nurses, and primarily in the Department of Health, but some in the Department of Social Service and elsewhere. NYSNA is the union there, and that contract is in place. We also have contracted with the Teamsters. They have organized a number of members in the law department, kind of an interesting dynamic. Teamsters are generally seen as drivers in other union contexts, but in this context, there's members of the law department that are Teamster members, and they too have a contract that extends a few years hence. We've just mentioned the two correction unions, the COBA and the superior officers. That would be the sergeants and the captains, wardens, and so forth in that situation. We are still in negotiation with our police union, the PBA, Westchester County PBA, and then also the superior officers. They usually negotiate as a joint effort. We have a contract that took us through the end of 2023, so the negotiations in 2024 are now continuing. We hope we can get to closure. The two sides are not particularly far apart, but there are issues that are important to both the union and that's important to us as management, and we're going to work through those things and hopefully get to a settlement. And then the final union of Westchester County that we have is our district attorney investigators. They have a contract that extends through the end of this year, so they are still on contract through December 31st, but we are in discussions with them to extend their contract to the next period of time. The law enforcement unions, which would be COBA and the superior officers, Police Benevolent Association and the superior officers, and the DA investigators, generally pattern in a similar way because their jobs have a certain amount of similarity. Many times DA investigators are former police officers, and we see that kind of interplay amongst the law enforcement groups. The county does get involved in ratification of contracts that come from the Westchester Community College. We do not negotiate those contracts. We do have to give approval to them, and a component of CSEA is based at the college campus, and then also there is a Westchester Community College Federation of Teachers, which is a nice New York State teachers combination of individuals, and those are also currently under contract. We see those contracts and look at them and approve them, but don't negotiate them. What this basically means is we've tried very hard as a management entity to negotiate fairly with our workforce and to come to common closure with them. You see many times there's great difficulty in any union negotiations, and in the public sector, the New York Taylor Law does prohibit strikes by public employee unions, but there are other factors that represent what leverage those unions have. So we've tried to work through them, and I think it's a good sign that we're at a point where we close the police contracts and with them the superior contracts, the DA investigators, and we have completed our negotiations, and for the next couple of years those contracts are in place. What it also gives us is a matter of good management. We can project labor costs because we know exactly what we're going to be paying for labor in 2025, and in most cases 2026, and in some cases through 2027. And having those rates agreed upon and locked into place are positives for us. We have a very small number of non-represented management employees, and for those individuals, we submit legislation to the Board of Legislators for approval for increases of pay in any of those. It's all a matter of public domain, so there's nothing that's happening outside of the public view. But it is important to know that we put time and energy and effort into this. I want to thank Vince Toomey and his team, who's on contract to us, who does the exact sitting across the table negotiating, and the professional negotiators of these various unions. They sit at the table, there's a responsible dialogue, and so far we've come to closure in every one of these contracts, and we look forward to doing that going forward. The county budget that we present in the space of a couple of weeks will reflect estimates of labor costs that are reflected in these various contracts. So that gives us a good base upon which to work. We do expect a tough budget this year. We'll talk more about that when we get to it, but at least we know where our labor costs are. So we thought we'd give you that bit of an update and let you know where we stand. Now we're going to touch on two things that relate to the election season that we're in. I'm going to cover the first one, and then we'll let Ken cover the second one. When you vote in November, you will be voting, as you always do, for people who are running for various public offices, primarily at the federal level and the state level. And that also includes judicial positions, of which there are quite a few on the ballot. And you'll have, in certain local governments, will be on the ballot as well. There are villages that have November elections. If you live in one of those villages, the down ballot, once you get below the level of state officials, state senators, state assembly members, you'll see local names on the ballot. But you need to flip the ballot over, the physical ballot, turn it to the other side in order to see that there are various propositions, referendum, that require a positive vote or negative vote by the majority of residents of that jurisdiction. 2 of them will be found all across the county, and 3 of them are localized in various communities. We'll touch on them in just a second, but we have a video that gives you at least a little bit of public information about what happens when you flip the ballot over.
Hey voter, this November, don't forget to give it a flip. Yep, there's more on the back of your ballot.
On the back, you will find key propositions that could shape the future of our state and local communities. Give it a flip.
First up, Proposition 1. the Equal Rights Amendment. This vote amends the New York State Constitution to protect protected classes and women's reproductive health.
Then there's countywide Proposition 2, which would establish county legislation terms to 4 years, similar to town and city councils and neighboring counties.
If you live in Dobbs Ferry, Pelham Manor, or Peekskill, you have the opportunity to weigh in on your local referenda as well. So, give it a flip.
Hello, Dobbs Ferry residents. There is an upcoming vote on amending the Length of Service Award Program to expand the benefits for our volunteer firefighters.
Pelham Manor voters will decide whether to move village elections from March to November.
And in Peekskill, voters can weigh in increasing the field library's operating budget by $80,000.
Every vote makes a difference. So when you go to vote, review the propositions, flip over, turn over the back of your ballot, and make sure your voice is heard.
Give it a flip.
It's important for you as an individual citizen to read up on each of these propositions. And if you live in Dobbs Ferry, if you live in Pelham Manor, if you live in Peekskill, the unique factors that go into those three particular localized propositions. The other two, the statewide proposition, the Equal Rights Amendment, and the countywide terms of office for the Board of Legislators, there's information out there, pro and con, and you should look at it, read it, understand it, discuss it. The League of Women Voters has put material out there on both of these topics. And there are many other advocacy groups that will tell you why the pro and why the con are the best strategies. But the important thing is to remember that as a citizen, your job isn't done until you flip the ballot over. So voting for those positions that are on the ballot, it's a presidential election year, high attention on that race above all else. But down ballot is important, and then it's also important that you flip it over. Ken will give you some information about the early voting, which is just at hand.
Thanks, George. So coming up on October 26th, it's your opportunity to make your voice heard in the early voting process. In Westchester County, we have 25 different early voting locations, and that means if you're a registered voter anywhere in Westchester County, you can go to any one of those 25 locations and your proper ballot will be printed out and you'll be able to vote, and certainly making sure to flip it over to see those ballot propositions on the other side wherever you live, in whatever community you are. Every registered voter can vote early, so October 26th, which also happens to be the last day that you can register to vote in the state of New York based on changes our state legislator made and the governor signed into law. So starting this Saturday is game time for early voting, so 10 to 6 on Saturday and Sunday. And so 10 to 6 Saturday and Sunday for each one of the 10 days. So October 26th and 27th, as well as Saturday, November 2nd and November 3rd. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the hours for early voting are 8 to 4, and that is, again, the 28th, the 30th, or the 1st, 8 to 4 at any one of those 25 different locations. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's the late evenings from noon to 8 p.m., again, at each one of those early voting locations. Those early voting locations are scrolling on the screen right now. Certainly you can go to citizen participation, one big word, citizenparticipation.westchestergov.com, to be able to see those early voting locations and to make sure that your voice is heard. Again, anything that you have, any questions that you have about voting, you need to contact our Westchester County Board of Elections to confirm your polling site, because on November 5th, you may not vote anywhere. You have to vote at your assigned polling location on November 5th. Certainly those polls are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Again, you can call 914-995-5700. Again, that's the Board of Elections, or citizenparticipation.westchestergov.com. Back to you, George.
Thank you, Ken. Now, before we get to Election Day, we have Halloween coming up. Ooh. And everybody knows, good. Everybody knows that Halloween is arguably the second busiest holiday of the season. It is not a day off from work. It does not have a tie-in to a particular American recognition as a Labor Day or President's Day might have. But Halloween is a lot of fun, and kids get a big kick out of it. And so our County Parks Department has set up a special program. We're going to ask Jason Klein, our Director of Conservation, and Daniela Ciato, who's the curator of the Trailside Nature Center near North Salem, not quite North Salem, it's in Lewisboro, but to tell us about what they have coming up, which is called Spooktacular. Jason, Daniela, tell us what we need to know.
Thank you, George. And yes, as George said, my name is Jason Klein. I'm the Director of Conservation for Westchester County Parks. And the Westchester County Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, we have over 50 parks and over 18,000 acres. And we are recently re-accredited, so we're nationally accredited. We're well into the fall season, having just completed a number of events, including a pumpkin picking event at Muscoot Farm. And another event that we're very excited about is coming up this weekend at Ward Pound Ridge Reservation, which is the Spooktacular, which I will let Daniela talk about.
Hello. This Saturday, October 26th, is our third annual Spooktacular Oktoberfest, as Jason said, at Trailside Nature Museum. There'll be many activities, including hay rides to a trick-or-treat trail, haunted house, campfire s'mores, crafts, pumpkin painting, face painting, cider and donuts, a petting zoo, and pony rides, and more. And every year I like to add something big, a new addition to the event. So this year I've added a 45-foot haunted obstacle course, bounce house. I'm super excited about this, and I think the kids are gonna love it. We also have the Oktoberfest part, which is held in Bergfield, and we have food vendors with Captain Lawrence Brewery. They've been with us every year. Stonefire Pizza and Three Little Pigs Barbecue are new. Crazy Taco Mex is been with us last year, and they were wonderful. And also new is American Swirl Soft Serve. And we'll also have bands playing with a variety of music throughout the day into the evening. The first year that I started to run this was in 2022, and we had 600 visitors. In 2023, we had 750, and we sold out. And this year, we've opened up sales to 1,000. So every year, the event keeps growing. It keeps expanding, and families love it. And it's a great way to spend a fall day at the beautiful Ward Pound Ridge Reservation. Tickets are now on sale on Eventbrite. That can be accessed through the park's website under What's Hot Now section. So we hope you'll grab your tickets before they sell out, and we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. And obviously we invite everyone, from wherever you are in the county to come join us at this. And once we get through that, we have a number of events going at all of our Westchester County parks that can be found on the county parks website. Some highlights of some coming up. We'll have the Holidays on the Hill at Lasden, and of course Winter Wonderland coming at Kensico. So thank you very much for letting us talk about that.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Jason. And certainly, again, the Trailside Nature Museum is at the wonderful Ward Pound Ridge Reservation in Cross River, right at the intersections of Route 35 and 121 in Cross River. Again, it's an exciting opportunity, and make sure that you sign up for the park's e-newsletter. I'm going to say that again. And Daniela was up here, and she had on her nationally accredited award-winning park system swag, because again, our county park system, your county park system, has been recognized again with the accreditation. Again, their 5th time being accredited. The police department, public safety, said that they have 7 times, so they're going to have a little competition going on, but it's great for us in Westchester County, and that's going to be a great opportunity for the Spooktacular Oktoberfest this coming Saturday, October 26th. So I'm going to continue on with the things that are happening in our Westchester County Park system. Again, Tuesday, coming up tomorrow, it's going to be Tibbetts Brook Park for Park and Read. So the Park and Read program, we all know, is from 11 to 11:45, where young people ages 3 to 6 can discover that joy of reading. In this case, in picturesque Tibbetts, near the small playground above the pool. And when the weather's inclement, it'll be inside inside at the catering hall. This also will continue on October 29th. Coming up on Thursday, October 24th, at the Hilltop Hanover Farm and Environmental Center in Yorktown. They will have the Farm to Fable opportunity. That is from 10 to 11 a.m. And again, it's for the targeted group of individuals or young folks ages 3 to 6. So they'll be able to explore the whimsy of the world around them by combining storytelling with hands-on activities on the farm straight from the tale. So that registration for the class is required online, so you got to make sure to hit that on the park's website, or you can go to the Hilltop Hanover Farm website where you can pay what you want. You got to register for the class, pay what you would like, and that was October 24th, November 7th, November 21st, December 5th, and December 19th. Fridays, as well as Tuesdays and Fridays, the mall walk continues from 8 to 10 a.m. We've had wonderful weather, so some people may be taking advantage of the trail system. However, if you would like to be in a controlled environment in the Westchester, here in White Plains, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Fridays weekly, you get a chance to go at your own pace, or you could get motivated by that inspiring group of people that have expanded the program into a small community, their family, and it is a great opportunity at the Westchester, at the Mall Walk, 8 to 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Fridays. Saturdays, there's just chock full of information that happens in our park system, whether it's at the Alfred B. Del Bello Muscoot Farm up in Somers. Book Buddies is from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. So you'll be able to have an opportunity to go into one of the animal enclosures and encourage your child to read in a unique atmosphere. So you can bring your favorite children's book or pick from our collection that's there. There's a fee of $10 for this particular opportunity for a 30-minute time slot that happens rain or shine. So please dress appropriately. And that also happens on November 16th, December 14th, and December 28th. Finally, we have two different opportunities on Saturday and then Sunday at the Westchester County Center from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. this Saturday. It's the annual Freestyle Fall Harvest Concert. So you can enjoy some great music by TKA, Judy Torres, George Lamont, Cynthia, the Cover Girls, Noel, Coro, Rob Bass, Grandmasters Melly Mel and Scorpio from the Furious Five, and Lizette Melendez. It's hosted by Sal Abiatalo, DJ Surge, DJ Whiteboy, and Joe Corsi. Again, that's the annual Fall Freestyle Fall Festival Holiday Concert, Harvest Concert, 7 to 10 at the County Center. And finally, you can do yoga in the garden, so you don't necessarily have to go to North Salem to participate in yoga and chair yoga in the brand new Senior Center. You can do yoga in the gardens at Lasden Park and Arboretum in Katona. That's on Sunday. That's from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. You'll have the opportunity to have the gentle discovery of amazing benefits of a yoga practice. $25 through $180. And again, that's going to happen every Sunday right through November the 3rd, the 10th, 17th, and 24th. And that's what's happening in our nationally recognized, nationally accredited, award-winning park system. And make sure you sign up for the e-newsletter on the park's website as well, so you can find out things and get some potential discounts for many of those activities that Jason Klein and Daniela talked about. And with that, we'll turn it back to the county executive. George.
Thanks very much, Ken. And we're going to highlight that as we go through the next few weeks into the months leading up to the holiday season. There are going to be plenty of additional activities to put on your calendar. Winter Wonderland will launch off at Kensico Dam Plaza right after Thanksgiving. And of course, we have a number of other activities that'll happen in the parks during that period of time. We have a Veterans Day ceremony scheduled. I believe it's for the Friday before Veterans Day, which falls on a Monday. We'll do that at Lasden, where we have our Veterans Hall of Fame. And then, of course, once we get post-Election Day and Veterans Day, we head to Thanksgiving, which will also be a very important time of the season. We have many ethnic festivals. We've recently celebrated Italian Heritage Month, raising the Italian flag here at the county office building. We've also done the same for Hispanic Heritage Month, had a reception here. Coming up is Albanian Independence Day. That's on the docket. And we intend to celebrate with all of our Hindu brothers and sisters their special festival of lights called Diwali. That's coming up as well, I think at the end of October, early part of November. So there's lots of different events to be involved in that should be fun. The stuff that isn't fun, we'll deliver the county budget. We've done the, last week we delivered the capital budget last week. We'll have the operating budget sometime in the 1st of November. The Board of Legislators will begin its deliberation on that. That's coming up on our docket of things to do. We mentioned last week, you may have caught it, it's in the videos that you can see on your Facebook page, that we had our professionals in the Department of Public Safety with us, Commissioner and Chief of Department, to point out how violent crime in general, is down in Westchester County, no matter what the popular perception might be. People will try to argue that the statistics don't prove what they think is true, but this is direct reporting from the various police departments of Westchester County, so that information is out there for you to see. And we'll have a couple of other updated information as we go along during the week. We hope you have a very safe week ahead. We thank you for watching, and enjoy the fact this is a terrific time of the year to be in Westchester County in the fall. I'm George Latimer, County Executive. Have a great day.